You know, I'm kind of torn sometimes. I kind of hate to bother people with tiny, what seem to be somewhat unimportant things on their paintings. And I know that I certainly don't get that many views on, you know, typically on the kind of thing that I'm about to do now. But I still kind of feel that it's important that I point it out sometimes. You know, I've done this whole painting. The outlines of everything. I mixed a bit of ultramarine blue and a bit of burnt sienna together, and it's fairly thick, fairly opaque, sort of the viscosity of motor oil, not quite gear oil, but still going over white canvas. When you have everything else in place, there is still some translucency to it. So I'm finding myself to have to do this, as I pretty much always do. I'm going back over certain areas that are in the foreground to strengthen them. Now, you know, these two tree trunks, as I go up to the top, I'm not going to blacken them further. I'm not going to make the lines even more opaque. Because even though those trees are very much, this one, you know, especially is very much in the foreground, as I get to the top of the painting, I don't need that strength. I want there to be softer edges on the trees as they get to the top. But down here, this is very important. And these trees especially, because they're very dark. As you can see, I've already done that little bit of shrubbery. And now I'm going to put this one in so that I can, without worrying about it being weak, I can go ahead and just, I'm ready for paint. I'm ready for its final paint. I've already done the bushes that are on the left hand side. Not worried about them. For the bushes, the trees, the small trees, the young trees. But I'm finding myself wanting to make the outline stronger on this one. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. I guess I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I know that I don't want this little skinny bit of trunk adjacent to the rocks. I think that what I might do is have a bit of thicker trunk right there. And that's all. You know, I just a hint of it. That's all there has to be. And these are the sorts of things, you know, again, I'm laying in another step, and still trying to improve it. If, you know, if maybe in modest ways, it still helps quite a bit. So yeah, I have the other side painted. I have those trees painted. I'm happy with that, and I just thought, well, it's kind of a chore to do this before you paint it, but it really should be done. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm just going to put this on camera and mention it, because I know it's an aid to those who are willing to listen, and only if it applies to your style of painting. You know, this very specifically applies to what I do, or what I'm certainly doing on this painting. I'm more distinctly laying out design of individual branches. I may not adhere to each line perfectly when the time comes, but so far I think this is the thing to do in preparation for laying those branches in. And yeah, it seems it can seem a little bit silly, but it's not, because now I can take my larger brush, I can take this brush, and I can paint in those branches with relatively few strokes. And it won't take me long because this is so well organized. I know for the most part where to place everything on this one and on this one. Okay, so, and they're going to be strong, very strong. I'll just, I don't think no, I didn't show you the finished trees on the right earlier, so I'm going to do that. It just makes life easier if you're willing to do the homework and the prep work before you do the final painting. It takes so much of the guesswork out of it. Okay, I want this branch to come across here in a fairly straight way. We're not looking down at it from where we're standing. We're pretty much looking across at it. All right. Oh, you know what, actually? Now that I want it. I'm going to be... Well, I was going to cut some background into this, because this branch was going right across that tree. I felt it made the top of the tree too fat. What I might do is put an interruption in there and make that another nub of a branch that was coming out of this tree in the background. Anyway, blah 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 blah. There I go again. Okay, that's enough. It's funny, you know, I do these spurts of 2 videos and 17 videos in an hour and then nothing for a couple of days, and I'm just taking you along with me as I progress, and I'm doing it in real time for the most part. Once I've completed something, I really want to show you what's going on. Okay, the outlining on the tree on the left. This one is not so important, but the outlining is pretty much there as well. I sort of strengthened it in there. I did the, I reinvigorated the outlining on these 2 small trees, and then I was able to go in and reasonably carefully lay in my colors. I'm using cobalt blue and burnt sienna and a bit of white because it's nice, it's cold, it's a cold green. I want it cold, but I want it green. And those are the same colors I'm going to use here. So we have some cooler greens because they're mostly in the shadow, but then when we get to these taller trees, I'm going to go back to the warmer greens. You know, varieties of greens, warm and cold, different temperatures, etc., etc., etc. Good night.